One.
And welcome to the Not Boxed In podcast with Trey Larkins and Melvin Levett. What's up, Mel? Trying to get Mel's mic on. But today is Monday, June the 2nd. It's the We Not Boxed In podcast with yours truly, Trey Larkins and Melvin Levett himself. So everybody remember, each and every Monday, we will be live here 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Park Place. We're live here at Park Place, the We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin Levett. And a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. It's a nice sports podcast that y'all tuning into. And don't forget, in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, chime in. We want your opinions. We're going to talk about tonight the NBA Finals. We got the finals matchup, Neil, on Thursday, the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. So we're going to preview the NBA Finals. Also, we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur and Dion and a few Sanders supporters, they feel like he was slighted in the NFL draft. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on as well. And don't forget to go and follow On Impact Recruiting Services and Wise Guys Sports on all social media platforms. They'll let everybody know where they can follow you on social media.
Everywhere. Whether I'm on my feed or somebody else's. No. Melvin Levett, obviously at Facebook. Melvin Levett Skills Training at Instagram. I'm still running the Bearcat Jam handle, which was created in 2018 with the TBT basketball team, our first inaugural TBT basketball team. Shout out to those guys. I know they're still out there doing their thing, respectively. But Nasty Natty took that over here as of the last couple of summers as the new TBT team. But I still run the Bearcat Jam team handle on X, which is formerly Twitter. So you can find me there as well.
And don't forget, Friday, we got the Combine. And then Saturday and Sunday, we got the 7vs7 showcase. That's at Western Hills High School. The On Impact Recruiting Services 7vs7 showcase Combine. For any information on that event, contact my boy Dante with On Impact Recruiting Services. So Saturday and Sunday, the 7vs7 showcase. And then Friday is the Combine as well. And so we're excited. Again, chime in. We want your opinions. We got so many things we're going to talk about tonight. But let's begin with our Bearcats segment. Melvin, I know you had a lot you want to talk about and disclose on the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Well, excited, nevertheless, about, what's happening down in Clifton and what's to become here in the near future between two basketball entities, football, baseball, which did a phenomenal job this season.
They did.
As well as a lot of other things that's going on, down here on campus. New athletic center that's being built, indoor, practice facilities and things like that. So again, excited all around about my Bearcats and what's going on. But obviously more importantly, the men's basketball program. Big changeover, this past all season, along with a lot of other schools around the country, with transport portal and things like that. But I think what we've been able to do the last couple of years is get into it and, find some pretty good talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, the last couple of years, the talent hasn't really gelled to the degree where we needed to, make that next jump. Obviously, getting back into the NCAA tournament, but I think, personally, I think we saw some good basketball.
Yeah.
Return to the city of Cincinnati, and it's a credit to Coach Wes Miller and all of his staff members for, getting out, getting, in the portal, recruiting guys, getting in their
absolutely
living rooms and things like that. And obviously, on his phone does a lot, so you can reach a lot through social media. But, great job that they've done. Obviously, with refilling. Again, a roster, you hate to say we have to start over again. But, for a lot of schools, that's been the norm the last couple of years. But again, we've got some good guys coming in, some highly talented recruited guys, some notable transfers that's coming in. Sean Abaya being one of the biggest, obviously.
Yeah.
One of the top rated recruits, 24/7, 24/7 sports. But one of the highest ranked recruits we've had here in UC in a long time.
Hey man,
the rating system
is
different, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
They still got the same head coach.
Basketball, things like
You see.
that. But we've had some
Can't
pretty
get
high
rid of
ranked
him
recruits. Them being the McDonald's all
What they doing in that?
ranked top 26. You know, obviously, nation, you know, recruiting wise, it's pretty highly touted. It's something to be celebrated here in the city as far as our program goes. Very excited to get this guy here in town. Getting involved in what's going on. It seems like he's a good young man.
Yeah.
Could be a great leader for us. Position wise, you know, 6'7", brings a lot to the offensive end, the defensive end of the floor. You know, averaging 14 points a game. Actually, I'm sorry, not 14, 24 points a game.
24 points.
24 points a game, 4 assists, and just about 7 rebounds in that overtime league, which is something that has really manifested itself in its own right the last couple of years too. But again, 5 30-point performances last season. He comes in, again, highly touted offensively. We won him over from a couple good basketball programs out there, with Florida being one of the most notable.
Wow.
You know, so I got to do some digging and some tapping into that to see how my Bearcats was able to pull that one off.
Yeah, that's a big one right there, especially fresh off a national champion.
Well, yeah, being from Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's
He was home. He could stay home.
Exactly.
He could stay home.
So he chose us over them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always good.
Absolutely.
That respect. So kudos to Wes Miller and his recruiting style. Really just big fish in. Keyshawn Tillery, another nationally ranked guard, point guard, actually. He's from Coach Wes Miller's high school there in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So he's tapping in to his old, you know, stomping grounds for talent, which, you know, in that New Hampshire area, I'm pretty sure there's pretty good basketball. New Hampton High School, to be exact. Ranked 53rd nationally for point guard. 6 foot, 4-star athlete as well. But he's a tough, gritty point guard. When he spoke about his style, I kind of thought about one point guard that came to mind that I had an opportunity to play with actually Sunday.
Yeah.
When he talked about his style. One was Charles Williams. I had an opportunity to play with Charles Williams since 97.
Yep.
Then there was a guy by the name of Michael Horton who came through. I had an opportunity to play with him. I think it was 97, 98. And then with the bowling ball stature going, that whole tough guy, pit bull type of deal. The last guy being, you know, Steve Logan. In retrospect, you know, Logan lost a lot of weight over his playing career, so can't really call him, you know, really a bulldog, so to speak. But he was one of those guys that, you know, fit the mode of, you know, short and stocky. You couldn't really rush him. Had his own pace and his own style. Keyshawn is coming in with his own style as well. Really, really great point guard skills. It should be something that really kind of, how should I say, chemistry with him and Day and I'm sorry, the point guard. He's gonna kill me for this. Jizzle, sorry.
Yeah.
Between him and Jizzle should be pretty good. Again, they're both playmaking point guards, complementary to each other as far as their playing style. It should bring a lot of up-tempo action.
Yeah.
You got a chance to see a little up-tempo action with Jizzle and Day this year, getting out and pushing the ball. So hopefully Keyshawn can come in and fill that void and let some of these other guys kind of run the floor a little bit, do a little bit of scoring.
Absolutely.
One of our notable transfers, Mustafa Thiel, 7'2", freshman coming in from University of Central Florida. Is going to add a lot of beef to our front line. You know, we haven't had a footer around here.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We've had some pretty good dominant big men, but we haven't had a 7-footer to man that middle, that kind of be that driving force, you know, kind of offensively and defensively. He had a nice clip as well over at UCF his freshman year, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks a game. So Should be something that the Bearcats can definitely take advantage of and use along that front line. Again, being one of our biggest assets that we've had there at the center position in a long time, should bring a different feel and a different look to things. Going along with Mustafa, we got Jalen Haynes, 6'8". Some say 6'8", some say 6'11".
Yeah.
Transferring from George Mason, 14.7 rebounds. Shot 55% from the field.
Okay.
All right, so that means we got the ball in the hole around the basket.
Efficient.
So what we want to do is try to make sure, we keep around the basket. I know the game is extending itself a little bit beyond the basket, but seems like a guy, again, that can put the ball in a nice clip and get that where it's supposed to be. 34th nationally as far as that field goal percentage goes. So that can fare well for us on our front line. Sticking again with the front line help, Baba Miller, transfer coming in from Florida Atlantic. Okay. A 6'11" guy. Looks like to me a kind of a versatile 4.
Yeah.
Can possibly play a 5, but I'm looking at this European influence. The kids from Spain. So knowing about what European basketball has done for a lot of schools, Gonzaga being one, most notably that I can think of off the top of my head. The European experience has been very good. We've had one last year, a couple years with Siemens.
Yep.
So should be good, obviously. With being 6'11", man, brings a lot to the table. Being very versatile.
Yep.
Being able to shoot the ball and stretch it from the floor, from the inside. He had 22 double-figure games last year. So the guy can score at a high clip.
Yeah.
11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists as well. So again, he's a guy that can fill the stats. Again, looking for something, obviously to change things playing style wise here at the University of Cincinnati because of the personnel that we have. But it should be something again people are looking forward to because again, we got some good guys coming in. Another transfer, I think it's Jalen Celestine from Baylor, 38% career 3-point shooter. So we've been looking for somebody in the last couple of years to shoot it consistently since myself. I jokingly say myself because I still hold the 3-point record there at the university.
Yeah, for sure.
25, 26 years, something like that.
That's big time.
All the shooters that they recruited since then, hasn't been broken. So I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't come in as a shooter, I developed the shot.
Yeah.
I learned how to shoot it. I just find it pretty funny. Being a dunker more than a 3-point shooter. But hey, I'll hold on to it as long as I can.
As long as you can.
A couple guys came close in the past. Davenport, a couple other people. I was cheering them on. Records are made to be broken. So maybe a couple of these guys maybe on this list as transfers can maybe get hot and break that record. But the key is to get them early.
Yeah.
If you don't get those 3-pointers early, it's tough to get them late, man, because everybody's keen on, and getting shots are like a pretty late in the game because they're so important. So do like I did earlier. Shoot it. Wait early. Yeah. It's first when you get in the game. First shot, 3-point. If you feel it, like I was. Anyway. But yeah, 38% 3-point shooter for his career. Another guy out of the country from Ajax, Ontario, obviously in Canada. So again, we have that a little bit of influence going on just outside of our map here. Wes is really doing a good job, man, tapping into different guys and different backgrounds and things like that.
Which I want to ask you a question real quick about Wes Miller. So Wes Miller, he's heading into his 5th season as Bearcats head coach. He is 82-59, so he's won 58% of his games. How do you feel about Wes Miller leading this Bearcats basketball program moving forward?
I feel great about it. I mean, obviously I'm a former player, so I bleed, Bearcat.
Absolutely.
And I've always been an advocate of every coach, no matter who it's been, after Bob Huggins' tenure. I always said that, I came to the University of Cincinnati, and I got a tattoo still of a Bearcat on my arm, not one coach's name. Right? So I didn't come to school, even though Bob Huggins was an influence,
Yeah.
major influence, love Huggins to death. But I came to the University of Cincinnati. So my allegiance has always been to the University of Cincinnati and what's going on. So for me, I'm always supportive and I've always been a positive individual. But just being realistic, man, and being real about it, I think Wes has done a good job at coming in and salvaging a lot. We always talk about what coaches inherit from past tenures and giving them an opportunity to recruit their own guys and develop their own program and things like that. We give that space to a lot of people, but for some that we supposedly don't like now in this social media driven world, you're on the bad side real quick. So it's a popularity contest with a lot of people out there that really don't understand the game. But if you're really watching the game, you're watching around the country, a lot of coaches are struggling with this whole transfer portal thing and the whole new NIL stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of rebuild each year at the end of your season. The commitment, to the programs like there was before when I played are few far in between. Wish we can get back to a little bit of that. Watch guys play a couple years in college to see what their careers can really be like. And what college basketball can be like if a couple guys stay a couple extra years. But, getting back to West again, I think he's done the job with getting out, finding the guys, getting the guys buying in to the program, coming here, wanting to be a Bearcat for one.
Yeah.
And reestablishing the allure around our C-ball, in our program. He understands our tradition as far as what's been built and what has been achieved and things like that. So I respect him wholeheartedly for what he knows and what he does. I think he runs a great system of basketball. I think sometimes the guys, obviously as all sports go, sometimes it's not executed fully, to the extent, and sometimes that open playing style for some can hurt. And I think we fell behind that 8 ball a lot this past season, the last couple seasons. Yeah, with having a open style of basketball, guys really not valuing possessions like they should and shot selection and things like that. There were some guys that really admitted that themselves. Yeah, on the past couple of years, but ultimately, man, I feel good about what's going on, what's coming up going forward. Bearcat fans should be excited for what's coming up ahead. These new guys are going to bring a new feel, a new look to what's going on. We're going to be right.
Yeah, and we got more Bearcats talk. We're going to get into it a little bit later on in the show with Mel. Obviously, the Bearcats, they did lose yesterday in the tournament in baseball to Tennessee Saturday, so I was definitely upset about that. But we're going to talk more about that a little bit later on in the show. You are listening to the We Not Boxed In podcast with Trey Larkins and Melvin Levett. We'll be right back.
My superpower is probably patience and encouragement. These days, kids are feeling really inadequate. They're not feeling like they have it in them to do something they've never done before. We need to create a place that was hands-on, that was a fun environment, that allowed kids to be creative and allowed kids a safe place to get it wrong. What drives me are those aha moments, those moments where you see the kid, they get it. And I tell you what, I live for that moment. Because when you give them an opportunity to approach it at their level and then add in sprinklings of the challenge, and they've got to kind of race themselves and maybe other students in order to get there, they're tenacious about it. They're excited about it. And when they achieve it, that is the greatest joy. That is what the Cincy STEM Lab is all about. Our job is about helping them build their confidence. It's about making the learning process different, fun, and very approachable. And STEM and science and tech and engineering and math is becoming a lot less scary to them. The problems that we are facing in the 21st century with climate change and access to electricity and energy, these are the jobs that have the money. We have to have all hands on deck for that type of work. And that is what we are here to do, to expose students, no matter how little money you have to how much money you have, how much you think you know and how much you don't know, and to help build their confidence so that they are ready to step out in STEM and say, here I am, this is exactly where I was supposed to be.
Welcome to Unimpact Recruiting Services, where we offer all sports, player profiles, personal training, ACT, SAT prep, college tours, sports evaluations, social media, college contacts, and more. Contact CEO Dante Payne at 513-602-7289 or visit the website. We are here to boost your exposure as a student athlete.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you all SEC.
Two, one.
And welcome back to the We Not Boxed In podcast with Trey Larkins and Cincinnati Bearcats legend Melvin Levett. We are here live at Park Place. That's in Forest Park. We are here each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with the We Not Boxed In podcast, discussing the latest in sports. And don't forget, Friday we got the Combine. It's the On Impact Recruiting Services. He's hosting the 7vs7 on Saturday and Sunday at West High. My boy Dante, so hit Dante up for more information on the 7vs7 showcase Saturday and Sunday. And don't forget, go and follow Wise Guys Sports and On Impact Recruiting Services on all social media platforms. And also follow Melvin Levett himself on all social media platforms as well. So, Melvin, let's transition. Let's go to the NBA. So we have the NBA Finals matchup Thursday in Oklahoma City. It's game one between the Pacers and the Thunder. The Thunder open up as overwhelming favorites to win the NBA Finals. They are 9.5-point favorites. It's an 8:30 p.m. tip-off on ABC. The over-under is 230.5. So obviously, coming into the NBA Finals, the Pacers in round one, they beat the Bucks. Round two, they beat the Cavaliers. They beat the Cavs in round two. And then round three, they beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then obviously with the Thunder, they beat the Grizzlies in round one. Round two, they went a tough 7 games with the Denver Nuggets. And then in the Western Conference Finals, they beat Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And SGA won NBA MVP. So what are your expectations for this NBA Finals between the Pacers and the Thunder?
Well, for me, just seeing the young talent. This is no slight to all of the other NBA veterans that's been in the league. You know, as long as they've been in the league, you know, we're talking about the Stephs, LeBrons, KDs, all of them. No disrespect to them, but it's good to see some young lions enter the cage, so to speak. SGA has been one of those guys that's been on this gradual climb ever since, you know, entering the league, and now he's there. You know, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Everybody is noticing that fact. But you know, you got another kid, Tyrese Halliburton, Hallie. That's stating his claim as well, man. He's, you know, a lot of people has not given him the credit that he deserves. I think as a, you know, a leader, as an up and coming entity in the league.
Yeah.
But the boy is he's doing big things, and he stuck a dagger in the heart of all the fans in Cleveland. One of the biggest daggers that we've suffered in
Yeah.
our city in a long time. So just speaking upon that and watching him do his thing, you know, he's very, very confident in his ability to get it done. You know, he's not a guy that's afraid to put it on the line. And that's what you love to see. And I'm excited for it just for the simple fact that I know it's going to be very competitive. These two guys are going to want to come out and prove to one another who's next.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting, you know, contrast between the two styles of basketball. So again, I'm looking forward to hopefully not watching some of the things that we got a chance to see.
Times a game.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I definitely, you know, side with that point a little bit. So, because I see guys take beatings
Yeah.
going to the basket, sometimes get fouled much harder than sometimes SGA and this pump fake step through pivot move.
And you played in that physical era too.
Yeah.
So it was more physical when you were playing compared to now.
Yes. So again, watching it sometimes, you know, it is frustrating. You know, watching against some of the other superstars and what they go through, and some of the fouls that don't get called. I think the referees, you know, they have a hard job, obviously, as it is. You know, because replay stuff has helped the game a little bit. I just wish we could get to more of a, you know, back to, so to speak, not so much of a level playing field as it never really has been. But just when calling the game, you know, you call it a little bit more even and a little bit more, you know, so to speak, not to the other guys' advantage. I feel like some guys really do get the advantage when it comes to the whistle, no matter sometimes who they are. I think some guys pass come into play.
Yeah, for sure.
When it comes to a lot of the referees' decisions and things like that. But, you know, again, ultimately, man, SGA is he's an amazing student of the game. He's figured out ways to maximize his potential. and his efficiency out there as far as helping his basketball team. And free throw shooting is a key part of the game that a lot of people forget about.
Absolutely.
And I watched games be lost at the free throw line.
Yeah.
I coach at the lower levels right now, so with high school and AAU basketball at the youth level, and I try to tell them how much free throws it adds up.
Yeah.
When you look at how much you lose by,
Yeah.
and you look at that free throw percentage, how many you miss.
Absolutely.
You can count those points up sometimes, and it can be the difference in the game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, getting back to it all, we just like to see again, referees again, give it a little bit more leeway when it comes to defensive.
Now, you mentioned Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, for the playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton's averaging 19 points per game, 10 assists per game. And he obviously was voted. He was voted as the most overrated star coming into the playoffs. And I said, after Tyrese Halliburton performed the way that he performed in the Eastern Conference Finals, Bill, I said, whoever the hell said that Tyrese Halliburton is the most overrated star, they should be exposed. They should be exposed because it's the one thing too I hate, and you know how this is. You dealt with this in sports. I hate in sports, whether it's NFL, NBA, baseball, boxing. I hate when we get quotes and it's anonymous. Put your name on it. Put your name on it. Yeah. Whoever said that Halliburton was overrated, they should be exposed. We want them to be front center because that's what has motivated Halliburton throughout this playoff run for not only him, but for the entire Indiana Pacers basketball team. I feel like they've been playing for Halliburton, and Halliburton has showed up and balled out for the Pacers. I was actually surprised he didn't win Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It was Siakam. Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know if you saw the video. Yeah. They had a video and they showed Halliburton. He stepped up like he was about to win the award. He ain't winning.
I watched it live. Man. It was kind of one of those moments where it was kind of like, you don't know how, it was going to be reacted to, but then you found out how quickly it was reacted to because somebody put it out on Instagram and the videos was everywhere. Next thing you know, he's looking, kind of like on the bad end because what he was expecting to happen. But hey, he led the team, man. In a lot of instances, Pascal Siakam did a fabulous job. Though.
He did.
Averaging I think 20 points. During the whole run, but you cannot take away Halliburton's just his overall impact. On everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the defensive and the things how he bottled up Jalen Brunson at times, man. But then was able to do things offensively as well too. He played both ends of the floor. I think he was definitely deserving of it. Things go crazy when it comes to voting. And you're behind the scenes and looking at that type of stuff. But there's still the finals to go.
And I think it was 9 votes. They got 9 votes. Siakam got 5. And Halliburton got 4. And I say all the time when it comes to the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, what he is to the Pacers, it's kind of like I related to even football. Like he's what Patrick Mahomes is to the Chiefs, what Josh Allen is to the Bills, what Joe Burrow is to the Bengals. He is the quarterback for the Indiana Pacers offensively. And make no mistake about it, if it were not for Tyrese Halliburton, the Pacers would not be in the NBA Finals. But I look at this matchup though between the Pacers and the Thunder. Obviously, from an offensive standpoint, the Pacers score a lot of points. They score a lot of points, and it is hard to stop the Pacers. You got Tyrese Halliburton, you got Pascal Siakam, you got Miles Turner, you got Aaron Nesmith as well. You got off the bench, you got Obi Toppin and Mathurin. They score a lot of points. But on the reverse, and on the flip side, OKC, they are the best defensive team in basketball. So I'm really interested to see how OKC defends the Pacers because the Pacers, they want to get up and down. They want to play at a fast, up-tempo pace. And the Thunder, they defend at a very, very high level. They frustrated Anthony Edwards all series long in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, they got so many bodies they can throw at you. Alex Caruso and Jalen Williams and SGA. And then once you get past them, you get to the rim, you got Chet Holmgren and Hardenstein waiting on you at the rim. So how do you feel about because the Pacers are underdogs going into the finals, but they score a lot of points. How do you feel about their chances in the NBA Finals, and how do they pull off the upset against the Thunder?
Well, just like you said, obviously both teams are at the top of the league, respectively, in both categories, offensively and defensively. Number 2 offense versus the number 1 defense.
Yeah.
So something's got to give at this juncture. Shooting obviously is going to be premium. This team comes out, knocks down open shots and things like that. Things on the interior obviously will be interesting because of Chet's versatility.
Yeah.
And Pascal Siakam, his versatility as well, being able to step away from the basket.
Yeah.
Will provide a little bit of problem for OKC.
Miles Turner can shoot too, though. He can shoot.
Yeah.
He can shoot
Miles
the
Turner.
shot.
Yeah, that's what really surprised me too. Miles Turner really surprised me going back to the Cavaliers series.
Yeah.
With his outside shooting, and then carrying on to the next series and things like that. So, retrospect. I mean, looking at all that, I mean, it's going to be again clear, mirror, so to speak, of each other when it comes to again the contrasts and styles. Like I said, the pace is going to be one thing.
Yeah.
Shea loves to control his team space.
He does.
And Tyrese Halliburton loves to control his team space.
Yes.
So it's going to be whoever obviously does a better job of making sure their team is in the right position to strike at the right time. Runs are going to be huge.
Yeah.
Because Indiana can get out and they can bust 10 on you real quick.
Yeah, quick.
10 quick points. Obviously with 3-point shooting, at a high level, they can get 10 quick. But then you watch SGA, Jay Williams, all those guys, they get out, they start running.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the score. They didn't put 15 up real quick.
Yeah.
So again, runs are going to be very important. We want to sustain, each other's run in retrospect, so to speak. But the Shea and Hallie matchup.
Yeah.
Again, that's going to be for me the key. Which point guard again establishes his own identity and stamp on the series early.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively, but again, pace and control. It's going to be key because, like you said, the Pacers want to run.
Yeah. And I thought defensively in Game 6 for the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, Andrew Nembhard did a tremendous job against Jalen Brunson. He held Jalen Brunson to 18 points on 8 of 18 shooting. And Andrew Nembhard, he doesn't get the popularity
that's a bad boy.
Yeah, not for real.
I like him.
Nembhard plays a great defense.
Like he's not afraid to get his nose dirty.
He's not.
Most offensive players, which he's been known as, coming off the bench and things like that, as a shooter,
Yeah.
An extra scorer. Most of those guys just want to come off the bench and do that. But what he's found a niche with guarding.
Yeah.
And I love guards, man, who play defense. I was a guard myself that wasn't afraid to kind of get out there and kind of chase around the best player or just kind of get in there and get dirty a little bit.
Yeah.
Nembhard and Mason, they bring that toughness that Indiana needs. And it's definitely going to be needed against this high-powered offense that OKC's bringing.
And that's the thing, too, for me, Melvin. Coming into the NBA playoffs, everybody talked about OKC and OKC being an overall number 1 seed and OKC winning all of these games. And my biggest question for Oklahoma City was, will Jalen Williams emerge as a reliable number 2 option? Because we all know once you get into the NBA playoffs, you need a dynamic duo or even a trio to win an NBA championship. And Jalen Williams, during the postseason, he's averaged 20 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 5 rebounds. So I feel like Jalen Williams also has been a big part of the reason why OKC is in the NBA Finals. Chet Holmgren as well, he's played well. He's averaged 16 points per game. So I feel like Jalen Williams answered those questions about whether or not he can be a reliable number 2 option. Chet Holmgren has also played well. And so I look at the Pacers as having really a trio between SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren as bona fide players who can create their own shot. And they are young. They are young and they are hungry. But they got a lot of players defensively that they throw your way. With Lou Dort. Lou Dort built like a linebacker. I mean, that brother is built like a linebacker when he plays for this.
One of the toughest. I mean, he's a throwback.
Yeah, throwback.
Definitely throwback. You talk about guys that, can play in different generations at different times. Dort is definitely one of those guys that, can get out there and play in any era because he's a guy, again, that's also not afraid to challenge.
Yeah.
I think he knows that, defensively, that's one of the places you can make your bones.
Yeah.
In the NBA, is guarding somebody and being that most notable guy to go out there and do it. And then that's where the offense comes in.
Yeah.
You get that confidence of guarding guys defensively. Next thing you know, you start getting into a flow. Your skill level starts to rise a little bit. getting the extra reps.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, you're becoming one of the scorers too on top of it.
for sure.
That's what he's done.
Yeah, that's what he's done for sure. And I want to give some credit to Oklahoma City Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault. He's done a tremendous job leading the Thunder as their head coach. I'm not ready to say that Daigneault is a great NBA head coach quite yet, but he's done a tremendous job leading them as their head coach. And for me, I just look at OKC. They got a lot of bodies that they can throw in the direction of Tyrese Halliburton. Obviously, you got Alex Caruso, you got Aaron Wiggins, you got Lou Dort, you got Wallace off the bench as well. Alex Caruso, who's also a champion. That's the thing, too. Going to the NBA Finals, the Thunder are young. So, no, they don't really have much experience from a final standpoint. But Alex Caruso won that championship with LeBron and Anthony Davis back in the bubble. So, Alex Caruso is obviously bringing that veteran presence. He's won the NBA championship. It's going to be an interesting series. I'm going to say this, too. I want your opinion on this, Melvin. And I want y'all opinion on this as well in the chat.
Chime in.
Let us know.
Send us something.
And this may be a little controversial,
That's
but
a good question.
if anybody knows, I don't give a damn. I've been seeing people talk about the OKC Thunder, Melvin, and they've been saying, oh, if the Thunder end up winning the NBA championship, the Thunder will be a top team all time. And it got me to thinking, and I even went live about this last week. And again, I respect Oklahoma City Thunder. SGA won NBA MVP. I like their trio of SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. But to say that they are going to be an all-time top NBA team if they win an NBA championship is absolutely ridiculous to me, Melvin. Because I'm thinking about, okay, think about, can this OKC team beat Magic and Kareem Lakers? No. Could they beat Kobe and Shaq's Lakers in the early 2000s? No. Could they beat Jordan's Bulls in the 90s? No. Could they beat Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili Spurs? Could they beat LeBron's Heat in Miami? I mean, I could keep going on and on. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about all-time teams.
You have to realize again, the time that we're in.
Yeah.
All right. We are in a time where people think nothing transpired before them.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You get on the internet, you see something, people post it like it's the first time it's been done.
Yeah.
Like it's never been seen before. Okay, that's what we live in.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to kind of not so much jump down their throat.
Yeah.
We just kind of like just kind of pat them on the back and go,
Yeah.
it's all right.
It's all right.
You
Yeah.
haven't been around.
Right.
To understand.
Yeah.
But if they do win the championship, but first let's get back to
And I respect them.
get back to the coaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rick Carlisle has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's had a championship run with Dallas.
Yeah.
He knows how to navigate.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that easy for OKC. Okay, he's going to have some things strategically as a coach, being around the league as long as he's been around, and having the experience with the guys that he's played with, where he's coached, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, this goes on and on. He's going to have some strategic things for SGA and that OKC offense and their attack. So it's not going to be that easy. They're going to have to really kind of dissect things. It won't be this open, up and down basketball scene, so to speak, because again, Rick Carlisle is going to do some things to combat that. So I think in the end, coaching style, that will play a big part in experience. You talk about championship experience with Alex Caruso, where you got coached with Rick Carlisle that won it. So he's a guy that's been there and knows what's going on, and I think he's going to have these guys ready to go out and perform, to execute at a high level, things like that. But now, moving on to OKC running this championship and being one of the greatest of all time. You know, they have a set of great players that's going to go on after this to be even greater.
Next question.
But so again, to anoint them as going to be one of the top teams in history and things like that, like again, give that to the kids and the public and the people that again that just don't think nothing happened before. So I don't even really. That's a new point to me. So it's
because this is the thing. I believe SGA is great. I think sometimes we throw around that word great and superstar too much. I think SGA is great and he's a superstar. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. But I'm not ready to say Jalen Williams is great yet. I'm not ready to say that Chet Holmgren is great.
Emerging. These guys, they're not. They'll be honest enough, hopefully, to tell you that they're not great yet. They're not superstars yet.
Correct.
It's a process, man.
It's a process.
And, these guys were fortunate, obviously, to be a part of a process that came together quickly.
Yeah.
Their general manager, I don't have his name offhand, but
Sam Preston.
done a great job of building.
Yeah.
And then the league has done a great job of building for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Giving them pick after pick after pick after pick.
Yeah, a lot.
So the league has blessed them
Yeah.
tremendously with an opportunity to build their team. But again, in the future, I think you look back on this group, if they're able to kind of put a nice run together, because it's not over. You got some trades going to go on in the league that may affect their run.
Yeah.
But I think if this group can stay together, man, this young core guys that they do have, speaking of, kind of like the big three, so to speak, that they have, and then obviously the other pieces that, they have together on this team. You talk about youth.
Yeah.
They got a lot on their side.
They do.
So
they do got that.
It remains to be seen whether or not I put them where everybody else is.
And another thing I've been hearing about how, because we know KD, Russ, and Harden, they got to the NBA Finals. I believe that was 2012, and they lost to LeBron's Miami Heat. LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. And so now, because OKC is in this position, everybody is saying that OKC, this version of the Thunder, is better than that team with KD, Russ, and Harden. And for me, and I want to ask you this, because you played the sport. For me, just because this team plays better together, that doesn't mean that Russ, KD, and Harden didn't play well together and weren't a successful team. Now, they didn't win a championship, but me personally, I believe that KD, Russ, and Harden is more talented than SGA, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren, and that Thunder team was more talented than this Thunder team. But people are trying to pretend like this Thunder team are going to be better than KD. And I'm also hearing that if SGA goes on to win the NBA championship and wins NBA Finals MVP, people are saying he should be recognized as the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player in their franchise over Kevin Durant, over Russell Westbrook. Do you agree with that?
Well, first, that big three that we saw was amazing.
Facts.
I take nothing away from what they brought to OKC and the NBA at that time. As a fan watching the game, it was great to see.
Yeah.
People talk about super teaming and all that stuff, how bad it was for the league and things like that. But having those three guys on the team at the same time, man, it was great to watch.
It was.
Not being able to obviously compete the job, you look at it as a failure because of the fact that two of these guys will be definitely Hall of Famers right out the bat. Now Russ, still got a little work to do. I think maybe voting wise he may get slighted, but
hold on.
KD and James Harden will be Hall of Fame for sure. So I wouldn't say that these younger core guys were better than these three in their prime.
Thank you.
No way. Are you crazy?
No way.
Are you kidding?
No way. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know again who's putting these things out, man, and who's talking like out the side of their necks, out the back of their necks. But there's no way you can say that those three guys were not better individually.
Yeah.
Now, as you spoke about, team-wise,
they
may play better
correct
as a team than OKC of the past did with KD and those guys.
Right.
So, but to say they are better, I wouldn't go that far. I'm an old school cat. My allegiances are where they are.
Yeah.
There are some young guys that have taken some leaps and bounds that have got me going.
Yeah.
Got my eyebrows raised, and I give them their flowers, but there ain't too many that's overstepping these guys yet.
Exactly.
And right now, SGA is making this approach. Anthony Edwards is making this approach. Halliburton is making this approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's going to be some others making their approach as well right now.
Now, I do believe that Russell Westbrook would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You think so?
I think so.
I hope so because he's done a great.
Yeah.
He's done a lot for the league.
Yeah. I like
Obviously, his playing style didn't suit a lot of people.
Correct.
Again, a lot of part of his career didn't have the numbers, but ultimately, man, as a competitor, man, that's one dude you want on your basketball
Yeah.
team. If you're in a foxhole, as they talk about,
You won't run.
you won't rush in that foxhole.
Yeah.
He's ready to come out. He's gonna fight anybody and everybody around him.
Yeah.
So that type of warrior I want on my basketball team. I want in my locker room. So again, hopefully, he is the first ballot guy. Hopefully, he does get those type of flowers at the end of his career because he's definitely deserving.
And I think that he actually played a great role with the Denver Nuggets this year.
Oh man, without a doubt, a lot of people thought he was going to kind of crash.
They did. They did.
But Russ came out and resurged a little bit, found a little bit more of the old joy that he used to have in the game. People forget how much fun Russ used to have when he was out there playing.
Absolutely.
Russ was brash.
Yeah.
He was kind of a bully and mean.
Yeah.
With his style.
Yeah.
But Russ had fun. He was always beating on his chest.
Yeah.
He was always clapping towards the crowd, hyping people.
Trash talk. I love it.
Then he was always dancing before the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was great to see Russ get back to a little bit of fun, within himself in the basketball game.
Absolutely. Obviously, I believe he averaged the most triple doubles in NBA history. And 1 year when he won NBA MVP, like Oscar Robertson did. Another thing too I want to say about, because competition matters too, Bill. Like the thing is with this Thunder team, and I tell people this all the time, if this Thunder team went up against LeBron's Heat with LeBron, D-Wade, Bosh, this Thunder team, they would get beat in 5. They probably would get swept by LeBron's Miami Heat team. So that's why I know they be saying, oh, if the Thunder win the NBA championship, this team will be better than KD, Russ, and Harden. Competition matters. The Pacers are not as good as the Miami Heat team were with LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh. They're not. So that's another thing I think about. So all that stuff matters. Competition matters. Right. That's why I always say at the time, like, Allen Iverson, he lost against Kobe and Shaq in the NBA Finals. But AI ain't get swept. He ain't get, say what you want about AI. AI did not get swept, and I respect AI for that. But
they won one.
They got one with, hey, you went up against Kobe and Shaq. You get one.
You're right.
I mean, come on. And that Sixers team, in fairness to AI, let's be real, Bill, that Sixers team was nowhere near as talented as the Lakers were. They were nowhere near as talented.
They just play hard as a basketball team. They had pieces in places that you needed them.
And they had a superstar in AI.
They had a guy that carried their load, and took them to the promised land. And at that time, man, that's all you really needed. Again, you go back to the 80s and stuff like that. That was the first time you really saw super teams, and even sometimes in the 70s with the old Lakers and old Celtics. But for the early part of the 90s and stuff like that, man, going to the early 2000s, later part of the 99 or 90s, going to 2000, it was one guy. Yeah, and a bunch of guys around him that helped build.
For sure. And we will talk more about the NBA Finals a little bit later on the show. Me and Melvin will give our predictions for the NBA Finals between the Pacers and the Thunder. You are listening to the We Not Boxed In podcast with Melvin, Levett, and Trey Larkins. We'll be right back.
2, 1.
And welcome back to the We Not Boxed In podcast here live at Park Place with myself and Melvin, Levett,
Chopping.
Everybody go and follow Wise Guys Sports and On Impact Recruiting Services on all social media platforms. Go and follow Melvin as well on all social media platforms. Each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., we are here at Park Place. It is also wing night up here at Park Place. So come up here and get some good chicken wings. Yeah, they good. Come get some chicken wings up here at Park Place. And you come and get some food, eat good. They got a lot of different options to choose from. And earlier we talked about the NBA Finals, talked about UC with basketball. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. Also, we're going to give our predictions for the NBA Finals as well. Don't forget, Friday, we got the Combine at West High. And then Saturday and Sunday, the On Impact will be hosting the 7vs7 showcase at West High. So contact Dante for more information on that. So, Melvin, we have discussed UC sports. We talked about the NBA Finals. Let's go to the NFL. Let's go up to Cleveland. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders as the Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders with their 5th overall pick. He was the 144th overall pick. And so it was a lot of noise surrounding Shedeur Sanders and where he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. So what are your expectations for Shedeur Sanders? And do you believe he will be the Browns' week 1 starter?
Man, first off, that had to be a wild ride that young man went on. Can you imagine? Again, as you already talked about, the many people that didn't want to see the young man succeed for one.
Yeah.
And then having to go through what he went through at the NFL Combine, being scrutinized from A to Z, and then doing the jobs that he did, obviously at those personal workouts and things like that, going through the whole draft process, figuring that things would work out for him on the higher end, because they obviously, again, had Shedeur really going higher than he did.
Yeah.
And I know his expectations, as you obviously saw, his party set up. As a lot of those guys, they do it big for their draft celebrations. And just watching that scene over those days and kind of follow the story, man, it was something to me.
Yeah.
Because again, you go from the highest to highs, and then you start to come down. Again, being in that situation myself, having an opportunity to be waited on to be drafted, and you wait for your name to be called.
Yeah.
You got all these things going through your mind. You got your buddies, your family, just all these things. The memories of wanting to be a star, coming up. All these things go through your mind, man. When you're sitting there, your name's not called. You're just going, okay, am I thinking? You start to really question everything.
Yeah.
But one thing I watched that was so inspirational to me was that Shedeur never put his head down.
He did.
His brother and those few family members that was there. And I watched the party dwindle.
Yeah.
It was about 5 to 10 of them at the end.
Yeah.
Which probably I think was his personal team. But watching that young man through that whole process, man, never dropped his head. Even when they played the trick on him.
Yeah. The prank call.
Oh,
that was
man.
great. That was great.
Even watching that process, he kept his head.
He did.
He kept his faith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stayed prayerful and believed that, God still had a plan for him.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and it worked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, watching that process, man, and watching him go through all that, again, had to be something, a whirlwind. And now getting drafted, finally getting to Cleveland, going through that whole process, and getting an opportunity to now get on that field. I know it's kind of relieving for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To know he's got a place to go every day. I know for me, when I got drafted, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about any of that stuff. It was about just the fact that I had a locker,
Yeah.
and I had a place to report to every single day, and I can go to that place every single day. When it came down to money, it was going to be business, whatever they gave me. But the fact that I just had a locker and my name on it, that was everything. And that's what I kind of got from Shador.
Yeah.
I kind of got that feel from him. He was just happy to finally have a process over and to be there.
Well, let's be clear. The NFL blackballed Shador Sanders. Let's call it what it is.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. They blackballed Shador Sanders, and they pretty much collabed together and say, we're not going to draft Shador. And the reason why they did that, Melvin, I said it from day one, they are doing this so they can get back at Deion Sanders. They can't get at Deion no other way. So the only way they can upset Deion or upset anybody in his family is to try to mess with Shador and mess with his head and his confidence. They don't like the fact that Shador Sanders is as confident as he is as a quarterback. But my question is, y'all didn't have a problem when Baker Mayfield was confident. When Baker Mayfield was in college and in the NFL, Baker Mayfield walk around with confidence and, throwing up signs and stuff as a quarterback. But it's all right when Baker Mayfield do it, but it's a problem when Shador has confidence and has a certain swag. I feel like they blackballed Shador, and I honestly feel like the only reason why Shador fell to the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns was because they collabed together. Whether or not they want to say it or not, that's what happened. It happened with Colin Kaepernick as well some years ago. That's why Colin Kaepernick is no longer in the NFL. But I feel like also, though, in a way, when you look at Shador Sanders, right, at the University of Colorado in 2023, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, over 3,000 yards passing, completing 69% of his passes. He followed that up in 2024 with 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, over 4,000 passing yards, completing 74% of his passes. He held the single season passing yards record and completion percentage record in his one season at Colorado in 2024. And you mean to tell me that Shador Sanders is not a top 3 quarterback at the collegiate level last year? So let's name off some of these players. Because Cam Ward, let's take him off the board. I know how great Cam Ward is. I like Cam Ward, played at University of Miami. But besides Cam Ward, who's better than Shador Sanders? Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw, Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, he's a quarterback for Alabama. Sometimes I used to have questions whether or not Jalen Milroe should be a quarterback. Like, what? What are we doing? Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel. These were all the quarterbacks that were drafted ahead of Shador. And we saw Shador, to me, I thought Shador was right behind Cam Ward. And then this thing, going into the NFL draft, many draft experts, they had Shador, Melvin, they had him as the 2nd or 3rd quarterback off the board, and he falls to the 5th round? That is absolutely ridiculous. Don't tell me it got nothing to do with your skill set. It's about whether or not these general managers and these owners like you. That's what it's about. It's about whether or not they like you. It's about your talent. It's not about your skill set. It's about whether or not they like you. And they do not like how Shador Sanders handles himself on and off the field. But they are okay with it with Baker Mayfield and these other quarterbacks do it. They have a problem with it with Shador.
First, numbers don't lie. Obviously, the numbers you read on Shador in his career. People will talk about competition. Who did he play against and things like that with those numbers. But, you can't lie.
Yeah.
Numbers speak for himself.
Numbers don't lie.
His athletic ability speaks for itself. He made some unbelievable plays.
Absolutely.
In his tenure, at both places, Jackson State and Colorado.
Yeah.
He proved himself as an athlete. I think he had the measurements, at the combine.
Absolutely.
Satisfying numbers. Now, what they talk about on the back end, and some of those things which I had opportunity to personally experience is, the interview processes.
Yeah.
When you go visit those teams one-on-one, the IQ tests, all these little other things that can pull your draft status down.
Yeah.
But even if, he bombed on a lot of those meetings.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't say the right thing. Still should warrant the fall that he experienced.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes into that situation that kind of knocked him down now. Again, Jerry Oaks, old school guys.
Yeah.
Old school individuals. Again, as we talk about this new social media driven world, everything is to the forefront.
Yeah, it is.
Shador had a lot of things that were edited wrong,
Yeah.
and put out there in people's faces that made them look a little too brash at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes that may have rubbed some people wrong. And it's just everything nowadays. This NIL thing that's taken over basketball is huge. And I try to tell these young athletes now, watch yourself.
Yeah.
Watch yourselves what you're doing socially, because it all comes back. Your likeness, you're being paid for it now. So you kind of got to be careful.
I get that.
And I think a lot of that, they didn't understand.
Yeah.
They didn't understand this new age athlete and how confident and sure of themselves that they are nowadays.
Yeah.
You have a lot of these kids that are at the college level playing, and they are marketing brands.
Yeah.
They're walking billboards. They're businesses in their own right now. And a lot of these GMs, man, don't know how to handle that type of stuff, man. They can't go back to a lot of it with Dion and how Dion they have treated the public, or they have treated the press.
Yeah.
You can't deny Dion's athletic prowess. Okay. What he did for these NFL teams, there's no way you should be slighting him.
No way. No way.
I mean, seriously, he had some moments where maybe in the interview didn't say the right thing or something. Come on, man.
Come on. Yeah.
Professionally,
Yeah.
Deion Sanders walked every walk
Correct.
that needed to be walked. He did his thing marketing wise.
Yes, he did.
Sold
Yes.
for every entity that he was a part of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether or not did he get his back or not, I don't know. But I know for some that was involved with him, they made theirs.
Absolutely.
So these NFL teams, man, should be treating this man this way. You know, even though, some things may have not came off him, they should be praising the guy and really like trying to take care of his next entity, which is his son.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
And when I think about greatest athletes of all time, I think about Floyd Mayweather in boxing. I think about Michael Jordan in basketball. I think about Deion Sanders at the NFL level. But not only was he a great athlete in the NFL, Deion was a great athlete in baseball as well. And he played here for our hometown Cincinnati Reds. But so for me, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. They blackballed Shador to get back at Deion. That's the only way they can frustrate or upset Deion. It ain't going to work. Because here's the thing. Shador Sanders is playing for Cleveland now. And the quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns, I see you a Browns fan, right? Like Browns. Yeah, quarterbacks is Deshaun Watson, who's coming off an injured Achilles, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel, which is another player who was nowhere near as good as Shador Sanders. I like Dylan Gabriel.
He was not. But that kid put up some numbers.
He did.
I mean, I'm talking about.
He did.
And he had a long career.
But
A long career.
He did.
Let's not forget about that part either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he had like 6 years, maybe 5 years.
He was out before too.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
across the board. But I'm gonna tell you what, I watched the guy compete. I mean, he's the ultimate competitor, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
undersized, man. So I welcome the heart that he brings to Cleveland, because Cleveland is one of those cities, man, that's built on heart and built on being an underdog. So with both these guys in the position that they're in,
Yeah.
they're going to flourish because they're going to have people behind them that support them. I hope that Shador can win out and beat Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is experienced, though, man, in the league.
Yeah.
I think overall, even though he's aging, I think overall Joe Flacco's blueprint, what he's done over the years in the league will have him starting day one. But speaking of, again, just the age factor, just the mileage.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco is one pull away.
Yeah.
One handy pull away. He's one hard sack away.
Yeah.
From being out. And as physically. So that leaves the door open, as you talked about. I was not ever a Kenny Pickett fan. Watching him in Pittsburgh, obviously, can't stand Pittsburgh.
Right.
But just watching him play, individually as an individual person, I didn't like his stats. I didn't like what he brought to the table.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, we obviously know what's going on with Deshaun. And,
Yeah.
we just don't know, what's going to happen with him, period. So I don't even look at him even being in the category as far as if Shador needs to beat him out.
Yeah.
So again, it's going to come down to him, Gabriel, and Pickett. And looking at that, I look at Shador being that next guy in line. So if Joe Flacco is the day one starter, I look for Shador Sanders to be the backup. My expectations for both of those guys, Shador and Gabriel, are low.
Yeah.
And hopefully for a lot of people, they start low.
Yeah.
So they don't put them really in a bad position, man.
Yeah.
Personally, because these guys need to kind of grow. But I think they will put themselves in position to be ready for that job.
Yeah.
If their numbers call.
Well, Dylan Gabriel played well for Oregon, but let's be frank. Dylan Gabriel is not better than Shador Sanders. And Dylan Gabriel, I like Dylan Gabriel, but he needs to get a clipboard because he's not better than Shador Sanders. And I think we're going to see that in camp. Let me say it right now. Let me get this out the way right now. Shador Sanders is already better than Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. I'm going to say it again. Shador Sanders is better than Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. Now, Deshaun Watson, I love Deshaun when he played for the Houston Texans, but Deshaun has not been the same in Cleveland compared to what he once was in Houston, Bill. I believe that Deshaun Watson, honestly, he should be arrested for theft because he hasn't done much at all since he's been the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. And I love Deshaun's game when he was in Houston, but he hasn't been the same in Cleveland. Now, we know he had the allegations and he had the situations with the massages and stuff off the field, but Deshaun Watson is no longer the player that he once was. So honestly, the only competition that Shador Sanders truly has is Joe Flacco. I was surprised that Cleveland brought Joe Flacco back. Right. Honestly, I was shocked. But considering the uncertainty at the quarterback position for the Cleveland Browns, I believe it was a blessing in disguise for Shador to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And honestly, the Browns, they can't be too picky when it comes to the quarterback because they haven't had a real quarterback in a very, very long time that has led them to a deep postseason run. So I believe once Shador gets an opportunity to play, I believe he's going to take advantage of that opportunity. And I believe because he was slighted and he fell in the NFL draft to the 5th round, that's going to be motivation for Shador Sanders. This is motivation. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for Shador. And best believe, Shador and Dion, they working. They working. They working.
I was getting ready to say, Coach Prime, Dad, whoever you want to call him right now, is in his ear about every last thing that transpired, and it's all going in one little package, and they're going to follow it up.
Yeah,
and it's going to be that chip that you talked about that he's going to come in here. Yeah, with they've already established their identity up there in Cleveland and OTAs and stuff like that. He's spending extra time.
Yeah.
So he's doing the right things right now to show the organization and the public that he's noteworthy and he's going to be one to contend. Yeah. So again, I hope that he does use all of it as fuel to come out and probably do the best that he can and have the best career that he can for himself.
I just never understood why people aimed hate in the direction of Deion Sanders for wanting to put his son in the best position to be successful. Like, I never had a problem also in the NBA when LeBron told the Lakers draft Bronny. I would have did the same for my son. I ain't never had a problem with LeBron telling the Lakers to draft Bronny. Now again, Bronny has to earn his position on that team. But if I am a owner of a company, I am going to use my leverage and allow my son or my daughter to be placed in the best possible position to be successful. So I never had a problem, and I never understood why people had issues with Deion and LeBron for putting Bronny and Shador in the best possible positions to be successful. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I never understood it whatsoever.
Well, I think it came down to when it was with LeBron. I think it was about Bronny James's talent level.
I understand that.
He didn't do a lot at USC and things like that. Kind of got this position, so to speak.
I get that. But I still feel like you can't knock LeBron for putting his son in that position to be drafted and to see him have an opportunity to play alongside his son is something that we never seen before. But I agree. I think that Shador Sanders will be starting for the Cleveland Browns. You agree? You said as well. At some point this season, he'll be the starter.
Definitely. I think maybe by game 4.
Okay, I agree. Well, and I love to see Shador. Now they play the Packers. They play I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. They play the Packers, I believe, week 4. So I hope Shador doesn't play in that game because I wish Shador would.
Don't they got the Bengals opening?
They do.
The week?
Yep.
Okay.
Bengals at Browns, and then they play the Packers in week 3. It might be week 3. So I hope Shador starts after the Packers game. Because I wanted to play well and I wanted to succeed, but it's the Packers going up against week 3. But you are listening to the We Not Boxed In podcast. We are live here at Park Place with myself and Melvin Levett. We'll be right back.
2, 1.
And welcome back to the We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Mr. Melvin Levett himself, Cincinnati Bearcats legend. We are here live at Park Place in Forest Park each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I know the flyer that we've been posting say 6 to 8, but it's really 7 to 9. And we're going to be here each and every Monday. And so don't forget, as well, on Friday, we will have the combine at West High. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be the 7 vs 7 on Impact, hosting the 7 vs 7 showcase at West High Saturday and Sunday. So let's go to our local business segment and let's give Rick the mic and allow Rick to talk about Park Place and discuss Park Place and everything that's going on here.
Okay, well, Park Place, we've been around for roughly about 8 years. We have a healthy choice menu, no beef, no pork, restaurant first.
Yeah.
Every weekend, we have a weekend brunch. So all we serve is, our proteins are chicken, fish, and turkey. So we have unique items like turkey ribs, turkey chops, salmon croquettes, real little different, but kind of a healthy choice menu. We also do entertainment. Every Friday, we have live band, live entertainment. Sundays now, we have live band karaoke, something different. The band is up here hitting for karaoke.
Saw that.
Real nice. That was pretty cool. It's real dope. So that's a really new thing that we started the past couple of weeks.
Absolutely. So, what can sports fans out there who are listening to the podcast, what can they look forward to? Besides a Monday when We Not Boxed In is here, what can they look forward to and being able to come and watch the games, maybe during football season and stuff like that? What can they look forward to as far as maybe the bagels during football season and stuff like that, right?
We keep entertainment going for our sports. We keep sports entertainment going. Every Wednesday, we got 65-cent wings.
Okay.
Good wing deal, wing specials. We also have football, Monday night football specials with drinks and wings. And also, like, big events, fights, big fights, sports. We have 11 TVs. So every TV has your favorite team on during football season. College football as well.
Okay. Saturday. That's big.
We can watch any game we want.
Absolutely. That's definitely big. And obviously, we got the NBA Finals starting Thursday,
Yeah.
June 5th. So that's going to be big.
Absolutely. We have games. We all have games. Every time there's a game, we might have bucket beer specials or wing specials or different food item specials. So we will be having specials during the game.
Absolutely. And I being in Forest Park, I grew up in Forest Park when I was younger and stuff like that. And obviously, we got Winwood High School not too far from here.
Yeah.
How do you guys try to basically appease the, Forest Park crowd and the audience that lives in this particular area?
Well, I'm from Forest Park as well. Grew up in Forest Park. Graduated from Winwood. We give back a lot to the school. No matter what sport, football, basketball, baseball, coaches, we cook for them. Okay. We was able to cook for the Winwood State football team.
Okay.
Cook their breakfast. Cooked a couple times for them. Game prep meals. Okay. We do that for them. We cooked for the girls when they went upstate before they left. Yeah. We cooked for the whole team. Cooked their brunch, cooked their breakfast, and that before they went upstate and brought home the trophy. Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Now you got wing night on Wednesdays, right?
No, Wednesday night is on Monday.
Oh, Monday. Wing night on Monday. Okay, what's Wednesday night?
Want to say turkey cone.
Turkey cone. Okay, turkey cone. Okay. Now with the wings though, the chicken, you got the breaded and
we got breaded, we got smoked, and we also have jerk.
Can't go wrong.
Real jerk. We got the best way.
Jerk is hot, man.
Man, that's 3 great options. Jerk, breaded.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Those are 3 great options for certain. Can't go wrong with the jerk. The jerk.
You can't go wrong. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, the jerk is good for sure. The smoke is good. Smoke, breaded, and jerk. But I like breaded though.
We do breaded. Matter of fact, we want to change a little bit this summer. We're going to sell a lot more smoked food.
Okay.
We got these new turkey sausages, they highlight turkey sausages, so the casing, natural casing. We ain't got to worry about, pork casing. I'm very into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Fridays, you said you have a live band.
Yeah.
What's the vibe like up here on a Friday night, man? You got people that had long weeks, Rick. They want to come and listen to some good music and just kind of catch a vibe on a Friday after a long week of work. What's it like on a Friday at Park Place?
You have to come and check it out. Every Friday, live band, cool entertainment. Grown folks. Sit down, you get served at the table, you buy a bottle of wine,
Okay.
buy a bottle of whatever, but that's what a lot of people do, come in couples. People a lot of times reserve it for their own private events and parties.
Okay.
So you have your own private party. We just had a really nice private party last weekend. Alicia Reese brought in her birthday party here,
Okay.
which was really nice. So the vibe is really nice. With every band, every week, show up and show out.
Absolutely.
Show it.
Absolutely. So come on down to Park Place. Let everybody know they can follow the social media for you or Park Place.
Park Place Restaurant, social media. We're located at 1185 Kemper Meadow Drive in Forest Park, right off of Winton Road. So we're right by the street, Winton and Kemper Meadow.
Absolutely. That is Rick, the owner of Park Place. This is where we are at each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Cincinnati Bearcats legend Melvin, Levett. And don't forget about On Impact behind the scenes as well. On Impact will be hosting the 7vs7 showcase Saturday and Sunday. And then Friday is the combine as well. You are listening to the We Not Boxed In podcast. We'll be right back.
1.
And welcome back to the We Not Boxed In podcast with myself and Melvin, Levett. We are here live at Park Place each and every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., discussing the latest in sports. Don't forget about the 7 vs. 7 showcase that's going to be hosted by Dante Payne from On Impact Recruiting Services on Saturday and Sunday. The 7 vs. 7 showcase at West High, and the combine is Friday as well. And don't forget to go and follow Wise Guys Sports and On Impact Recruiting Services and Melvin Levett on all social media platforms. So, Mel, I know you had some more Bearcats information that you wanted to disclose to our listeners. Let's talk about the baseball team. Obviously, the baseball team did come up short yesterday against Tennessee in the tournament, but they had a tremendous season.
Great run, man. Great run. It's exciting again to see the new entities taking shape. Down there on campus, baseball has been something that's been growing the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And now they obviously have to do stadium down there and things like that. I was able to kind of cap it off with kind of like a little magical run this past season, man. Just watching those guys get announced for the at-large bid, as all teams sit around and they look at that cameraman and wait for their name to be called. It just brought back a lot of memories, man, being on the basketball team and sitting with the group and waiting for the team name to be called and see where you were going. And
Yeah.
just see the eruption and then the fanfare and things like that, it made me feel really good. Obviously being a alumni still and stuff like that. But it was their first at-large bid since 1974, which is obviously huge without winning the conference title to be obviously selected for the tournament, which means obviously they've done some pretty good things throughout the baseball year.
Yeah.
So obviously to garnish that selection. We had several notable performers, throughout the year. Carrington Cross, being obviously one of the biggest, leading the Big 12 in batting percentage at 414, was the Big 12 player of the year. We had Landon Veteran, led the team in home runs and stolen bases. Jack Vitale, 17, all Big 12 also. Catcher, exactly, his position. First baseman Quentin Coates, made the all-freshman team.
Okay.
So again, looking at some of the individual things that they were able to do, I think Coach Jordan Bishop, and the Natty Boys are on a good track.
Yeah.
Down there in Clifton, they're building against something pretty good. Looking at our honorable mentions, Nathaniel Taylor, Kellen O'Connor, and again, Landon Veteran. Kellen and Nathan, were pitchers. So did very well, obviously.
Yeah.
Pitching is obviously very important. I don't care what baseball level you're at, you need pitching to win. So
Absolutely.
I'm obviously, again, looking at what they've done over the past year, in the Big 12, was huge. We talk about some of the talent that's in the Big 12, what Big 12 baseball has been like over the years. So to see University of Cincinnati take that next step into the upper echelon, was pretty cool this year. Again, losing their second game against Tennessee, after winning their first one against Wake Forest, but then they lost the elimination game to Wake Forest as well. But at the same time, congratulations to the Natty Boys. We look forward to seeing you guys next year and what you have to offer.
And I want to say something about that because I think when it comes to UC sports, Mel, because of greats like yourself and Kmart and you had Steve Logan's, the Kenny Satterfields, and then you had the Max Seals of the world. I feel like we talked a lot about Bearcats basketball. We tell you that sometimes there was a time where we were talking about Bearcats football because the Bearcats a few years ago under Luke Fickell, they were in the college football playoff. I think we sometimes overlook baseball. I think we do. I can admit this. I think a lot of times in our communities, we grow up and we play baseball, but as we get older, we focus on the NBA and the NFL, and we kind of forget about baseball a little bit. And so, big shout out to the UC Bearcats baseball team.
Yeah, if you look around the city, man, with the Reds Community Fund and what they do with the neighborhoods, around town, as far as baseball, bringing baseball into the community. it's always been something, again, going back to my little days, I played third baseman in center field.
Okay.
So, baseball has always been in the neighborhood. It's always been a sport that kids sought out. And it's great to see them back in the neighborhoods, getting the kids involved and back into the sport, because I think it is an entity that is forgotten about.
Absolutely.
People, look towards the NFL and the NBA as a means and a way to kind of achieve a dream to become professional. But baseball is one of those entities that have great numbers involved when it comes down to as far as positions and things like that. So you have a lot playing in your favor. But again, it's on the rise. And again, what Reds are doing, they're bringing a lot of light to the game. The kids are getting more involved. So it's really exciting to see the build.
And these MLB stars, they make a lot of money. They make a ton of money. And the thing is, too, another thing that people really underestimate, I would say, it is hard to be able to hit a baseball pitch.
Very hard.
If you are a batter and you sit in that batter's box, it is hard to hit a baseball pitch coming at you 90, 95, 100 miles per hour. It's hard.
Once it started moving on me, I stopped playing.
You stopped?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy third base more or in an outfield?
You know what? The infield is cool. The infield is cool because they get a lot of action.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the youth sports, outfield don't get a lot of action.
No,
I played center field because I was athletic.
Okay.
I was able to kind of cover right and left. So it kind of stuck me kind of in between.
Yeah.
So I can run from one side to the other.
Yeah.
But I love playing on the infield, man, because the infield got a lot of the action.
Get a lot of action.
You heard a lot of the noise and a lot of the chatter that took place along the not the bullpen, but on the benches.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. And the coaches are giving signs and all that. So it's a lot of lively action in the infield. But I enjoyed the game of baseball, period, man. It was an outlet for me to just be out in the neighborhood and go form relationships with other kids from other neighborhoods. And, be with my friends at the same time, too. Everybody wasn't playing football when I was little. Everybody wasn't playing basketball. Kids were spread out playing different things. And sometimes if you wanted to be with your friends, you had to go do a certain thing.
Absolutely.
So for me to kind of be with some of the friends that I wanted to hang out with, I had to go play baseball. Yeah, and it turned out great for me. Like I was actually pretty good at it, and it helped me learn how to move laterally. Yeah, and things like that. So it was definitely a good help. So shout out to baseball, and obviously its resurgence coming back. But then obviously tapping back into obviously University of Cincinnati. Yeah, looking at our women's basketball team, their first campaign in the Big 12. Going 15-14 overall, but 7-11 in the conference. I felt like Miss Katrina Merriweather coming back, and taking over this job was huge. Being a former player and someone with a lot of experience, at the high Division I level, she was able to kind of get tapped into the recruitment process and get some kids in here that wanted to be Bearcats. And these young ladies that came in here and they made their marks, man. It was very exciting to see some of the action down there on campus this past season. I look very forward to going down there to their games this year. I'm pretty sure ticket sales will be up. Season ticket sales I'll check those numbers and I'll have those for next week's show for you guys. But I'm pretty sure the impact of D. Alexander coming in from Purcell Marion, a local product who garnished just about every women's basketball honor that you can garnish in the last 4 years. Coming out of Purcell, man, and create that dynasty that they created over there, winning 4 state championships. I'm pretty sure she's going to have an impact locally, just in fanfare, but also with recruitment. There's a lot of young ladies coming up after her in the next several years that are going to be staking their claim as well, too, in Division I basketball. And I think a signing like her can do wonders for the university locally. Whether it's marketing, donations, if it's just overall support, or again, the recruiting process. Again, I think she can garnish in some top level young ladies, not only from the university area, but outside the area too, because again, she did things nationally. Correct. And now as we talked about, it's the social media driven world with these young ones now. They link up with each other crazily. And sometimes it just takes one of them to influence the next one to say, hey, let's go see what we can do over here. Yeah. And maybe see about such and such, if they want to come do it or not.
Yeah.
Something that we didn't see in the past.
Correct.
But something that these young kids, I kind of can admire a little bit within them, that they do respect each other in that right.
Yeah.
To want to pair up with one another and come to the same university. So hopefully Dee can, entice, a little bit of her, counterparts out there.
Yeah.
Going forward, but actually with her play, getting ready to hit the floor. Hopefully she can, do her thing out there and skill-wise bring in some notable recruits that way on that end. But I know Katrina and her coaching staff are going to keep beating the bushes, man, and doing the best that they can to make sure they got the top talent. Absolutely. Got a lot of key returners coming back in, man. So I'm looking for the women's basketball team to take that next step too, as well as a couple other entities down on campus. It should be really exciting. Getting back to our men's, we got a couple other transfers coming in. Sincere Harris from West Virginia, 6'4" guard. Krista coming in from Kentucky and Arizona. He's from Estonia. Again, I keep making reference to the out of the country reference because, obviously overseas European basketball, man, has taken a turn. So it's a game that's played very differently. And I look at a lot of the European skills that's in the game.
Yeah.
Changes our game.
Yeah.
Dramatically. It's hard to guard.
It is.
I mean, some of this European pace that some of these guys come to our game with, and some of the skill set, they're jumping off the wrong foot, different changes of paces that they play with. It's a different style of European ball. So hopefully they can bring a little bit of that to the table, man, and create a tough situation for the opponent. Lastly, with our men's basketball team, we got a new hire with an assistant men's basketball coach, Mamadou Njai, coming in from UCF, University of Central Florida, which I think was key in maybe getting Mustafa to transfer in. But however it goes, man, however we can get it done, man, we need to make those things happen. But I know that with this experience, man, coming in from UCF as an assistant, previously at San Francisco and Coastal Carolina, he has the coaching experience. But as a former player at the University of Auburn, making it to the Sweet 16, he knows what the college basketball scene is like. He knows what the demographic is like. But then obviously being a pro player as well, he was drafted 26 overall in 2000, maybe 99, 2000, 26 overall pick. Spent time with 4 different teams: the Mavericks, the Raptors, the Clippers, things like that. So, he's got an extensive bio background. And I know he's going to bring a lot more to West Miller's staff. And I know that they welcome him with open arms, man. You can't have enough great minds down there that's open things out. Absolutely. We're going to look forward to, man, this upcoming basketball season. Again, I'm excited about it. It's a total new look to what's going on. But I think people can really hang their hat on the fact that these young men are going to come out and play. They're going to represent Bearcat basketball in the correct fashion. And obviously our ultimate goal, man, is to make it to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. We're not too far off from that, and hopefully this is the year that with these proven players, we got some guys that are really proven. Yeah. We can go ahead and make that tournament and get back in that tournament and be out there in March, like we used to. I used to take the trip to the first round sites. So I'm looking forward to get back to doing it. You know what I'm saying? I want to get back out there and check out my Bearcats. But again, it's exciting to see what's going on down there, man. I love the university. Love what's going on. We got the new Larry and Rhonda Shakley Center. Yeah. That's been built. $134 million facility. That's going to do nothing but attract nothing but the top echelon recruits. Yeah. It's going to be a place where our athletes will have the opportunity to, become professionals. Absolutely. I walk down there on that place now and I see all these different things that these kids have at their expense, man. I know I wouldn't leave. Yeah. I would lock myself into some of these facilities, man. I would just stay and get better, man, because they have everything at their exposure. And again, looking at this center, man, that they put together. That's going to be a performance center and indoor practice place. With it being a performance center, you're going to have everything in there you need.
Yeah.
You know, performance-wise, you know, whether it's top-notch machines, recovery, massages, whatever. Yeah, anything. All those things that it takes, man, to take that next step. But then you got the indoor practice stuff, which is going to bring a whole new feel to just being an athlete and being able to prepare.
Sometimes when you're down there, does it really amaze you about how different the campus is now with all of the facilities that they have and ways that the athletes can get better?
I've always said, you know, it's been a long time coming. University of Cincinnati has always been a top program to me, top college to me. I've always felt like we deserve to have what all the other universities have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our basketball program did a great job in the early years of establishing our brand and getting us out there to make the money that was needed by performing.
Yeah.
Then our football program established itself to make the dollars that they made.
Yeah.
Our volleyball team made a turn. Our track, our soccer programs, baseball is on the rise. I mean, again, everything is doing what it needs to do, man, to kind of make its own way and garnish its own stature, so to speak. And it's proud to see. And like I said, it's always been a long time coming for me in my mind, I thought, because I always felt that we deserved it. I always felt that we were one of the top programs, you know, in the nation. And now, with these facilities, we'll be able to compete with a lot of the other top conferences who have the facilities.
They do.
You got some colleges out here, man, that got some facility space that's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, so going back to my days at University of Cincinnati, during my time, the University of Kentucky had a chef at that time.
Really?
So if they had a chef during my time at University of Cincinnati, 98, 99, when I was finishing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what some of these universities got now
Yeah.
in 2025?
Agreed.
We got robots bringing them food.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Robots.
But we are at that stage, you know, we are at the AI stage. I seen a couple of robots in the restaurant here locally. Blew my face.
Yeah.
Like I really had to leave the place holding my head like, are we really here now?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's exciting again, man. I love again to see the growth. I'm excited for what's next, man. I can't wait for the season start here next winter for a lot of the teams. And let's go Bearcats, baby.
Yeah.
Let's
And the city, the buzz in the city when the Bearcats are doing well, whether it's football, basketball. I remember when they went to the college football playoffs.
Crazy.
It was crazy.
I made a trip to Dallas. I drove to Dallas, man. I mean, it was just like you said. It was the hypeness of the city.
Yeah.
You know, you're in the college football playoffs. You get a chance to play against Alabama.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want to be a part of that? I'm sorry if you wasn't able to make that trip, if you didn't get a chance to see that game. Obviously, we lost the game, but just being there, man, being a part of that scene, and knowing that we were that close. You know,
that close.
And competing, it just makes you feel good, man. And we can get back there to that point, man. We just got to now do the necessary behind the scenes things to get us back to that level, which I know the University of Cincinnati is working really hard to do those things. There's a lot of stuff that we just talked about with recruiting, facility space, top players coming in from around the country that can garnish a whole lot of different things for the university, marketing-wise and support-wise. I think we're in a great space, man. We're in a great spot. Again, go Bearcats, man, and what's coming up next.
Absolutely. And the thing is, man, I remember that Bearcats playoff team. Obviously, you had Desmond Ritter at quarterback, and then on the defensive side, you had Sauce Gardner. Big shout out to Sauce. Sauce is the cornerback for the New York Jets, and definitely one of the top DBs we have at the NFL level. But man, it's nothing like the city, when the buzz in the city, when the Bearcats are playing well in whatever sport. Only problem is that damn traffic down there in Clifton. That's the only problem.
Yeah,
that's the only problem, man.
Do something about that parking down there, man.
Man,
I don't know if nothing will ever be done about that.
I don't even.
You know, I think it's just the way it's built. This is the way Clifton's built.
Yeah,
you know, and stuff like that. But hey, we love it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Can't nobody talk about Clifton but us.
But us.
You know what I mean? If you're not from around here, you better not be talking about Clifton.
Absolutely.
I'm putting that out there right now. I'm on IG Live. You know what I mean? We're on Impact Live, Facebook. If you're not from around Clifton, you better watch your mouth.
Absolutely.
That's coming from the helicopter himself. Chop.
And speaking of baseball, let's give a live update. The Reds are trailing right now against the Milwaukee Brewers, 3-2, top of the eighth. Reds are down at Great American Ballpark. I hope the Reds can pull it out.
You know, that hiring of Mr. Francona, you know, he was obviously a former Cleveland Guardian manager, but most notably a Boston Red Sox manager, you know, a guy that I thought would definitely bring a lot of credibility to the Cincinnati Reds baseball organization and just to the city, period, man, because Francona is a first-class guy, man. He's a straight-up individual, so I'm excited about, you know, just that fact alone that the Reds got someone here to represent them in that fashion, you know. And the players that we have, young talent, the building, you know, it's exciting to see. And they're going to make their turn here soon as well. And I've been a Red supporter as well, being here in Cincinnati now over 25 years. I've worked with the Reds Community Fund. Marty Bergman has done a great job. Like those guys have always done a great job playing the golf outings and stuff like that. So it's cool to be around the city of Cincinnati, man, to be a Cincinnati. I was born and raised in Cleveland, born and bred, but you know, I'm a Cincinnatian now. And I celebrate a lot of the Cincinnati stuff, man. It's got a lot, you know, that goes on here. So it feels good to be a part of it. It feels good to be looked at as a Cincinnati sports legend. You know, so I'm able to kind of do these things that I'm doing right now with this podcast and stuff like that. So, you know, shout out to everybody in Cincinnati. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Shout out to everybody that, you know, has supported Melvin Levett over the years. Still calling me the helicopter. I'm 49 years old. Didn't mean to put that out there, but I'm enjoying this space that I'm in right now. I'm enjoying getting age. I'm enjoying aging gracefully, but at the same time, people still calling me the helicopter at 49. Man, you can't pay for that.
Man,
you know what I mean? That's something that's just like this. That's something I can really hang my hat on and really be happy about because it was a legacy that was created amongst the people here in the city. So thank you guys out here in the city. Thank you for watching us tonight. All that's it. I think we were how many watches we were up to?
500.
We were up to 500 people, man. 500 people tuned in live to watch us on our first night, bro. And that's really cool. I was nervous, man. I felt like my stomach was going to come through my throat when I walked through the door. Like, oh, I don't know how it was going to work out, but obviously, y'all, you know, 500 people out there, man. That's what's up. You know what I mean? Thank you for the support in Cincinnati. Big ups to y'all. Thank you for all of you, just everything, man. Appreciate you. I'm here for you. You know, ask us some questions, man. Shoot us up. You know what I mean? Chat. You know, shoot me a question, things like that. Join us live, all that. We're doing again brand placement. You know, all you guys out there with the city gear, all of the products. You know, let's get it here on Impact. We'll put you out there. You know, I want to put on some new duds. You know, I've been wearing Levett for a minute. You know, I'm gonna keep representing myself, but I know there's some other brands in the city that we can represent, man.
For sure.
Out here, you know what I'm saying? Make them look good.
You
know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
I want to say something real quick too about the Reds, though. Terry Francona, established, proven manager. Reds 29-31 of the season, Melvin. So they got to get over that hump. They ain't consistent. We need the Reds to play a little bit more consistent, good baseball, and hopefully they get over that hump and make the postseason. I love their team.
It's always that period of the season where the teams make that work.
I hope the Reds can make that work.
At 29-31 right now, you know, obviously almost at 500. You get a chance to put yourself above 500 here in the next couple games. But it's going to be that one stretch, whether it's right before All-Star or just after the All-Star break, where the Reds are going to make their mark and they're going to pull away and they'll put themselves in contention for the playoffs again because Francona, again, I think is one of those guys that know how to push the right buttons and at the right time to get guys hot and to believe in themselves the right way. The fans got to keep supporting. That's one thing that needs to be happening. Fans got to stay involved. I know fans get fickle a lot. You know what I mean?
Baseball long, man.
They're in there. Oh, it's a long season.
It's a long season in baseball, man. 162 games.
We got to play it out. Man. You got to give these guys an opportunity, man. As long as the people stay involved and stay supported, which I think all the Cincinnati sports get that support. From the big all the way around. You know, FC Cincinnati garnishing a lot of support right now. So people will buy into you if you're putting out a good product and you're playing the sport the way they want to see it, which is hard, sometimes unforgiving.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Gritty.
You know
hustling, all that good stuff. What Cincinnati people, you know, pretty much are all about. But I look for the Reds to make that turn here soon. So, it just remains to be seen, man, what's going to happen.
I hope they get over that hump. In the NL Central, you got the Milwaukee Brewers, St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago Cubs as well.
Oh, yeah, and big shout out, obviously, rest in peace. Obviously, Mr. Pete Rose, but that was a huge decision by baseball to, overturn the gambling whole situation. And now he has an opportunity to be eligible, to make the Hall of Fame.
Should have been Hall of Fame.
It's an argument that we can make everybody back and forth with each other, but you can't knock Charlie's hustle.
Absolutely.
Becoming a Cincinnati guy and understanding what he, brought to the city and to the organization, and learning more about it. Being a part of that Cincinnati Reds Home Day Parade the last several years, I've been able to kind of learn more and more about the history of Cincinnati Reds baseball.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
It's great to see. So, shout out to all of Mr. Rose's fans and his family, for the decision that was made.
Yeah, man, I go back to so many great Cincinnati Reds players throughout the years. Pokey Reeves to Sean Casey, Barry Larkins, my cousin, yours truly.
Chris Sable, one of my favorites, man. I used to love
Chris Sable. Obviously had the years with Ken Griffey Jr.
Eric Davis.
As well, Eric Davis.
Dave Parker.
Remember Dimitri Young? I said Barry Larkins. Yeah, Dimitri Young. Man.
Chris Sable.
We had some great guys. We had some great guys that suited up for the Cincinnati Reds. And I just hope the Reds can get back into the MLB playoffs and they can make some noise.
It's a brand, man. It's a nice brand. It's a nice brand around the league. Around the league of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Again, they their early runs in the early years. If you go back to some of the early years of baseball, they talk about the Cincinnati Reds. Riverfront Park. Crosley Field. This is some of the most notable things that, again, historically, that the Cincinnati Reds, pretty much have to offer through Major League Baseball period. So, hopefully, again, they can get back to, the things that they used to do and get celebrated the way they used to.
Absolutely. I really, really hope that they can. And we expect them to be able to do it. And I look at the Reds kind of like how I look at the Packers in the NFL and the Lakers and the Celtics in the NBA. They are a historic team that you can't forget about. You cannot write the story of baseball without including the Cincinnati Reds. But real quick, before we get out of here, Mel, let's talk about the NBA Finals. Let's give our predictions for the NBA Finals. Who you got in the NBA Finals, Mel? Pacers, Thunder, and how many games?
Well, ultimately, I got OKC winning this. I think number-wise, roster-wise, they just got they have a lot of guys, man, a lot of high-powered guys, man, that can come in and get it done. And when you have strength in numbers and you're trying to play for something like the championship at this level, at this late in the season, strength in numbers is key for me. And I just think overall, I think OKC will ultimately win the series. They'll where Indiana down. I think it'll be a 4-2 affair.
4-2. Okay, so you got to be competitive.
Yeah, it's going to be competitive.
Okay,
it's going to be one of those sweep situations or anything like even 4-1 like OKC has been doing on teams. In the last several series. I think it'll be 4-2. I think it'll be very competitive. Hopefully, again, at the end of the day, we'll just see some great basketball. The NBA hasn't disappointed, on some of the performances here in the finals. So hopefully this will be another great year where some memories can be created and, guys can take that next step as professionals in the forefront.
Absolutely. And great minds think alike. I hope I'm wrong, but I got Thunder in 6 as well over the Pacers. I do hope the Pacers can push this series to possibly a 7th game in Oklahoma City, Mel, but I believe that OKC, they are the better team. They have been the better team throughout the season. They have the NBA MVP on their roster in SGA. That trio of SGA, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams has definitely elevated their games, and they have positioned themselves to win an NBA championship. But I'm going to say it again. Don't sleep on the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, Aaron Nesmith.
Rob 49.
Man, Rick Carlisle as their head coach.
Rob 49 is going to be in the building.
Rob 49. Mike Epps. Mike Epps.
Indiana bringing out all the stars. All the stars back out. Just for this series again, too. Hopefully we see Make 'em Dance Lance. As a Bearcat fan, it was great to see them bring back Lance Stevenson, to the game. So, hopefully again, Indiana can rise to the occasion, man.
I hope so.
Maybe I can get a ride down or something, maybe get a ticket.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great environment.
Just locally, man. I mean, it's not local, but it's kind of local.
Yeah, it's kind of local.
Indianapolis is 79 miles away from here, man. Yeah, it's a great basketball atmosphere. So to have the finals kind of around the Cincinnati area,
yeah,
that's pretty cool, man. I always thought, we could have a NBA pro basketball team in the city. We can talk about that more in our next couple podcasts. For sure. We can get that type of thing going here in the future. But yeah, it's exciting, man. Hopefully people enjoy the finals. Yeah. We'll have more updates for you coming up in our next show. Yeah. Next week. But hopefully again we'll be talking about one exciting first game that we saw, our first two games. Yeah. I think it'd be probably Tuesday. Yeah, because game 1 is Thursday, game 2 is Sunday. So we'll talk about games 1 and games 2 Monday here at Park Place. So I just hope offensively the Pacers obviously can score a lot of points. I just hope they can get enough stops defensively because we know the Thunder, they can get stops. When they need to get stops and buckle down from a defensive standpoint, the Thunder are the best in the NBA at being able to do that. So it's going to come down to whether or not the Pacers can get some stops to compete in this series. I'll tell you one thing before we get out of here. If the Pacers are going to compete in the NBA Finals, Bill, they got to win one of these first 2 in Oklahoma City. They can't go back to Indianapolis down 2-0. Got to steal one. Got to steal one. That's one of the important things, obviously. When you're playing a series, you got to be able to steal one on somebody's home floor. Yep. If you get one of those done early, you put yourself in there in a position late to kind of absolutely be able to compete in the series. But yes, you're right. They got to go to OKC, man. They got to get a game there. Looking at that atmosphere, man. Yeah. OKC's got a wild atmosphere, man. When they get the people in there with the blue T-shirts on. Yeah. You can't really tell what's going on in there. You look at the crowd. Everybody's camouflage looking the same. Yeah. It's a wild scene. Wow. It kind of reminds me of European basketball a little bit, man. How ruckus and loud it gets up in there. Yeah. They do a great job with supporting their team, man. That's tough to overcome, too. It is. When you're going into an atmosphere, you already got to face players like you got to face, but then you got that, some call it the 6th man, other places call it the 12th man, whatever it is called, you got to deal with those fans. Got to deal with them. Yes. And OKC Thunder fans bring it. They do. The Pacers, the Sirs, they bring it too. They bring it too in the yellow. They bring it in the yellow. Too. So, yellow T-shirts. Watching them get excited about beating the Knicks, man, that was huge. So hopefully both fan bases can, provide a lot of energy for their teams. And absolutely. Make it even more exciting. Yeah, for sure. And obviously, with the Thunder and the Pacers, these are 2 small market basketball teams. It's like the Lakers or the Celtics or the Knicks. These are small market teams. That's why in the finals. Celebrating this moment because again, it's not the juggernauts that you're used to seeing constantly. Yeah. Being the best is great. Yeah. After a while, it gets boring watching. Yeah. I got tired of seeing Patriots. Yeah. Even though I enjoyed the fact that they dominated people and they won titles, I got tired of seeing that. It was time for someone else to take this new stage. Chiefs took it over. I'm tired of now seeing the Chiefs. So you was happy when the Eagles beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? I was happy. You was happy, huh? Right, because it was a new day. Yeah. Now it's time for somebody to oust the Eagles. Yeah, yeah. All right, here soon. Man. So, I'm just looking for that new bird, man, to take over, man, that new entity always to take shape. And it seems like, again, it's starting to do so right now in the NBA. It's good to see these young bulls, these young guys coming for the throne, man. Yeah, I'm excited for the head coaching matchup. Rick Carlisle versus Mark Daigneault, 2 nice NBA head coaches. So this is an opportunity for a small market team to win an NBA championship. So definitely happy about that. Game 1 will be Thursday night in OKC, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. And the Thunder are favored by 9.5 points. So it'll be interesting to see the overwhelming favorites. But Melvin got the Thunder in 6. I got the Thunder in 6 as well. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, man. I'm at Melvin Skills Training on Instagram, Bearcat Jam on X, which is formerly Twitter, and Melvin Levett Facebook. Just look me up, man. I got a couple profiles on Facebook. Just got to tap into the right one. Be the one with the hat on. That guy, he's retired. Yeah. He's asleep right now. Don't wake him up. That dude, you don't want to see him. He's still got a lot of things going on in the back of his mind that he hasn't really dealt with.
Yeah.
All right, social. Go to the other profile. You'll be able to find me. Tap in, Melvin Levett. I'm always there, man. Again, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching us tonight. We'll be back next week with more and more hot topics to share a lot of more local things that's going on. Just real quick, getting back to my Cleveland Browns, I do watch the Bengals. I do celebrate the Bengals.
Oh, you do?
The Bengals are a good time. All right, I've been to a couple events down there. I've been to some tailgates. I'm going to tell you what, win or lose, bad season or not, Bengals fans really know how to get together. Yeah, y'all really know how to get the tailgate, man, put it together. So shout out to y'all. I can't wait to see y'all this tailgate season. Bengal Jim, shout out to you, man. I'm coming to see you first and foremost. All right, I'm going to see you at the celebrity softball game here in July over there at the Florence Yaws. All right, but definitely I'm kicking it with you this winter, Bengal Jim. I mean, you and me, man, we're going to be partners. All right, Cam, Coach Cam. I don't mean to infringe on your friendship, man, with Bengal Jim. You go see me this winter, all right? But anyway, man, get back to the Browns real quick, man. My overall expectations for them, man, for the season, just set right at about 500. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't expect nothing big, man. I just want to see them come out and compete. Yeah. Guys, half the years don't get hurt catastrophically. We got Myles Garrett still out here trying to do his thing. We almost lost him in trade, but it's happy to see that he's re-signed. Yeah. But ultimately, man, I just want to see these guys go out and put out a great product, man. Be competitive. Obviously, the Battle of Ohio, I look forward to every year. But I cheer for the Bengals outside of Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean? Every Sunday.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Melvin, before we get out of here, but your Cleveland Browns, they're probably going to finish fourth in the AFC North. I don't think the Browns are better than the Ravens, Bengals, or the Steelers right now. They got to get their quarterback position solidified. And maybe Shador will be the savior, because I believe in Shador. I really believe in Shador Sanders, and I believe he can be the future franchise quarterback for the Browns for future seasons to come. But I think right now I would have to say that the Browns will finish fourth and last in the AFC North.
Hold on for a second. Hold on.
I see it.
I need to replenish real quick.
For real. I got the Browns in fourth in the AFC North, man, right now. But that can change.
Jamar, you see I'm supporting you, man. I'm drinking on you right now, man. I gotta kind of rebut that statement there. Even though I hate the Steelers, and this is not because I hate the Steelers, we will compete with the Steelers this season.
What about the Ravens?
The Ravens are the Ravens.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
You depend on Lamar Jackson to do what he do. And when it gets time, he's still going to do what he do, which is not get it done. So we will compete with the Ravens as well, too. I think it's going to be a two-team race. Bengals, Browns.
What?
First, second, third, fourth. That's how I'm calling it.
So you think the Ravens is going to
It could be the main goal going to my head right now, the extra electrolytes and the extra vitamins going to my dome.
It got to be.
But I'm going to tell you what right now, baby. The Dogs, we go compete.
The Browns are better than the Ravens, huh?
We go compete. I didn't say we're better than the Ravens. We will have that opportunity to compete and beat the Ravens.
Yeah, and that's the thing last year.
We
the
will
Ravens
have that
once.
opportunity to compete and beat the Ravens in a game this season. And if we get lucky enough, we'll beat them that second time if we catch them on that bad day. But again, man, we're a couple plays away. We're a couple plays away. And again, it's going to be exciting to see where it all goes. You know what I mean? But I'm waiting for that Battle of Ohio. I'm all in on it. I can't wait. It's going to be an exciting season for both Ohio entities. Again, I'm all a part of it. Just as long as, again, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers don't end up with it, I'm happy. You know what I mean? We got to somehow get it out of Kansas City. We got to get it away from Buffalo. We don't want it in any of those places. If it's going to be somewhere, bring it up there. I'll bring it down here.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel.
In Cleveland or Cincinnati. I got high expectations for the Baltimore Ravens, but we got plenty of shows in the future to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
The AFC North and football as a whole. Don't forget, this Friday we got the Combine, and on Impact we'll be hosting the 7 vs. 7 showcase at West High. That's Saturday and Sunday, the 7 vs. 7 showcase hosted by Dante of On Impact Recruiting Services as
Gonna be
well.
exciting. Make sure you get out. Come see the kids.
Get out, come
Support
see
the kids. Support the kids.
for sure. And don't forget, go and follow Wise Guys Sports on all social media platforms. Follow Trey Larkins on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. Follow Wise Guys Sports. These guys know sports on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. We are the We Not Boxed In podcast. Each and every Monday, we'll be live here at Park Place, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. with myself and the helicopter himself, and Mr. Melvin Levett. We'll be back on next week discussing the latest in sports news. So be sure to tune in. We Not Boxed In, signing off.
Still flying.
Enjoy y'all week.
We always open too.